So today on Tate's Talk, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of van life after 1 year. Can you believe it's been a year?
It's been a year already?
Yeah.
If you didn't know, our van is a 2022 Thor Scope
18M.
Dodge ProMaster 1500.
Yep.
It's, how long is it?
18 feet.
18 feet, 9 foot tall,
Mhm.
and less than 7 foot wide. We're at North Beach, Florida, which is one of our favorite little campground destinations. It's not far from our house. And we did our first pros and cons video 1 year ago.
Yeah.
And we have done a whole year's worth of traveling nonstop all over the country, and we have a different perspective on what pros and cons are now.
Yeah. So we thought we'd share those with you today.
Our first pro would be, I think, the fact that this van is so easy to set up and go.
Yeah.
You can just, like today, we booked the campsite, and then we just threw some things in the van, and we were able just to go get some gas, and we're here within 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Set up at campground, we're ready to eat and hang out.
And how long did it take you to do setup for the van?
The setup is less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's great.
It depends. It's 2 cords, so it's electric cord and a hose for the water.
Yeah, so it's great.
That's it.
Yeah. So I think for me, the biggest pro of van life is really being able to just go. Like you can, literally you could drive anywhere. And so to me that's
Flexible.
yeah, it's really flexible. And the great thing is, I think about being on the road is you get to see all the quirky stuff that you can't see from a plane, like the biggest pistachio in New Mexico, or eating, an Idaho potato at the Potato Museum in Idaho.
Unplanned.
Yes.
So we were able to add some extra destinations just because we were in a small van and we weren't towing a big camper or driving a big RV with a Jeep behind us.
Yeah.
We're just in this van, so we were like, hey, we got time. We'll stop, and we added a bunch of destinations.
Yeah.
Another pro would be working from the road. Amy worked from the road when we made our way out west, the whole western experience, and she worked a lot from the road. And we set her up on a table, and she had her computer out and making phone calls, had the door open, was enjoying the wind and the air.
Yeah, I think the great thing about that too is that, especially when you're traveling on the West Coast and you work East Coast hours, you literally, you get up early, and I'm not a morning person, but I had to get up really early on those days, but I was done by like 11 o'clock, noon on the West Coast time, and we still had all afternoon to finish doing things.
Yeah. I think another pro would be saving money. So we spent a little. We spent a little bit more money than we thought on some of the campgrounds, but we got also a cutback. We got a discount by using a lot of the KOA campgrounds, so we saved money there. It's a little more than, say, regular campgrounds like some of the state parks we stayed at, or some of the national parks we stayed at, or when we go boondocking. But if you compare that to, I think, like hotels, Airbnbs, and things like that, it's more than half the cost. It's
Oh yeah, definitely. And
or less than half the cost. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, so it's
And I mean,
saves money in the long run.
Yeah, and I mean, if especially on the West Coast, I think there's more opportunities to do like dispersed camping, free camping, on like BLM lands and things like that. Here on the East Coast, I don't think we have as much of that as availability, and it is a little bit harder, but the state campgrounds are, I mean, they're pretty cheap. You can stay at most state campgrounds for about $20 to $30 a night.
Another thing that saves money on is if you do you go grocery shopping. It has a nice big fridge in it, so we can put a lot of food in there and make food from the van or at the fire pit, or like we did. We bought a little what do you call that thing?
Oh yeah, a little jet boil.
A little jet boil. Thank you. I don't know. Jet boil, and it worked great. I mean, we cooked these little. You boil water, put it in there, like 10 minutes later, we got like pastas, and it tasted great.
The other thing is, and we touched on it just a little bit, but the boondocking, having the wet bath and the cassette toilet in the camper, it gives us that ability to still be able to take showers and things of that nature right here in the camper. So that's great. And the water gets really nice and hot.
Are you on to the next one? Because the shower's the next one.
Oh, sorry. It's a nice transition.
Yeah, nice transition. So the next one, I know Amy's pro would be showers.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
The convenience of being able to shower and having hot water all the time is just awesome.
Yeah.
And,
definitely plus.
And then I think the last one that we wrote down was forces us to do more planning, which could be a con to some people, but basically we had to know where we're going to stay, so Amy had to lay it out, or she had to make plans in advance to change locations, like when Yellowstone closed down and we had to change our campsite location to Cody, Wyoming, and different things like that come up. It makes you think about, like, all right, let's get up in the morning and do this from 9 to 12, and then we have the rest of the day to work from the van. Or you could do it backwards, work from the van get up at 6 o'clock in the morning like she did sometimes, work till noon, and then we have the whole afternoon to go take a hike. And then like out west, where the sun never goes down, apparently, you have all these extra hours after you've worked a full day or whatever to get out there. So there's a lot of pros.
Yeah.
Any cons? Let's talk about cons for a minute.
Yeah, so I think the work thing, that's a great segue into internet, right? The internet sometimes it sometimes can be spotty, and sometimes you have no internet, but you find little tips and tricks and
sometimes
things
you need
that
a
will
sat
help.
phone, satellite MacGyver phone, the cell tower.
Yeah. So I think storage space still.
We're getting better at that, though.
No, yeah, we really are. I mean, you kind of find things to help maximize your storage, but at the end of the day, you're still living in a 18-foot home. How do you maximize the storage space in such a small vehicle? All right. So one of the things that we did to kind of maximize our space is we bought these little containers that have lids. Right now we don't really have anything in it, unfortunately, because we're on a small trip. But on longer trips, we kind of use this as our extra pantry space. And then it fits right in there.
And we actually have 3 of these. So like we just put knickknacks right here right now. But you can fill these up and use the whole space. Isn't there a third one over here too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and this one has my favorite hat in it, which is getting squished.
It just keeps everything from sliding around, keeps it organized. It's much easier.
Yeah. All right, so for long trips, really that wet bath cabinet in the back of the wardrobe closet. We didn't think it was big enough for a way to kind of put everything. So what we did was we bought this little trunk here, and it kind of has my blanket, but it also houses our clothes in here. And then these little plastic bins can kind of separate different, wardrobe items. So another thing that we did is we tend to keep like a lot of our blankets and things like that in here. It just makes it a little bit easier for storage. And then this fits perfectly, perfectly right in between the seats.
One of the things we do when we go into drawers is forks. So, how many forks do we need? So we bring 3. 3 forks, 3 spoons, 3 knives. Very easy. Pair of scissors, pizza cutter, and then to save space, we used to have like 15 million bowls. Now we just have like 2 big bowls and 2 of these little small bowls, which are proportional anyway. So if you're trying to eat good, there's that. And then Amy got these. These are the best things ever since sliced bread, I think. I use these all the time. They're measuring cups. They're just like Rubbermaid. They pop right out. Real easy. Don't take up much space at all. Slam them right in the drawer. Make it easy. And the same thing with containers. Amy bought all these cool containers like this, where you can open them up, and you have this big dish like this, and then within it is another dish like this, and there's even a smaller one, and there's probably like 5 of them that go in this one dish thing, and then it all pops in together to form one little thing like this. So there's like 5 different sizes in one thing. Keeps it nice and neat. Again, bowls, same thing. Look, you can use it for a dog bowl too if you want to, I guess. But wash it out afterwards. But this is so neat, And they even have lids that they come with, so you can put them right in the refrigerator. And then when you're done, wash them really good. Look at that. Boom. Easy breezy. And so we have a bunch of these. We have a bunch of these that just pop out. Look, see how thin it is? There's one with a top on it. This is our big dishes, like our pots and pans. We just got a simple Tupperware thing and put all our pots and pans in here. So you can tell that one was cooking on the fire. And then it easily slides right up here, so we got all our big pots and pans are out of the way. And like we have our cooking stuff up here as well. And then coffee maker, toaster, all that stuff conveniently goes up top there. Boom, out of the way.
And so that storage space, really, you have to use it very carefully.
Yeah, and
we make the most out of it.
And we way overpacked.
We always do.
So we had a whole bunch of clothes we shouldn't have brought, different things, but
we gotta learn to be more minimalist.
Yes, we have to. You don't need all that stuff. Missing home base.
Well, yeah.
So there was a couple times where we were out on the road where I think it was in Texas, because Texas is so freaking big, and we were driving, and I just, as we were driving across the desert, and there's just a couple of small towns that you stop at from time to time and get gas. Usually they just have a gas station, but it's just kind of like that sense of like, I mean, it's good if you have a end time. Like our last trip was 2 months. We knew we were going to be home in 2 months. You just kind of get homesick a little bit, and you're like, oh, where am I at? I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm in a van, and I'm days away from home. But it happened to me like twice. I don't know. Did it happen to you?
Yeah, it did. It did a couple of times. Yeah, so
it's hard to bring pets because of the parks.
It is, and I think if you're doing like a lot of national parks like we did, the reason why we opted not to bring them was really because we would have had to put them in kennels and things like that, and we just didn't feel like it was fair to them being cooped up all day and in places where they didn't know where they were. So we opted not to, but
if we're going to a place where we know we're gonna stay longer, and we have arrangements and things, but like on this last adventure where we were just go, it's just not feasible to bring them. And like she said, I feel bad for leaving them behind. I mean, they'll be great in the van. I mean, you can set the air conditioner to kick on. You can have you can monitor them from video. The bed sucks.
Oh, yeah.
You start with that one.
Yeah, so...
I need to get a sip of my soda so I can talk more about this one. Sore subject.
So I think we've talked in our last Tate's Talk about the bed, and somebody did recommend a blow-up
mattress. We're going to try that in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to try that tonight and see how that works. Oh my gosh, it fits. Yay! You sit on it. Oh my gosh. Wow.
I'm not sure.
Why don't you get some sheets on it? Oh, come on. You know it's better. Yeah. So thank you for that.
It may or may not work. We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bed, we just got to work on some ideas, and we'll come up with some ideas. We saw, get bigger foam mattress. All it is foam and cushions,
yeah,
so
it's just not very comfortable.
We'll find some way to make it more comfortable. And the size of the bed, like we always talk about, is great. Yeah. The accessibility where you can just pull it out or pull one side out at a time and stretch your legs. It's just it's real easy. It's just, the quality of it. But
I think one of the cons that Mark would probably say, which is actually going to be a little bit, I'm sorry, I'm going to pick on you a little bit, honey.
Okay.
But
the first time
is that this window back here, we didn't think had a screen.
Yeah.
And then we found out in New Mexico that it did. So
yeah,
that con turned into a pro.
My biggest con was always this. We never had a screen. It was like, you can open and shut the window, but you never have a screen. But then, during a stormy night, Amy discovered that it actually does have a screen.
Yeah.
There's been a screen there the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just we didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
And it's not like they tell you.
No. It's kind of hidden.
Yeah, so it just pops off. You just, whoop, boom. The cons we had way back when, a year ago, were like the generator, but they did a recall. Thor did a recall. We brought it into the dealer. They fixed it. They jacked up the back of the van. They put a casing over it. Having any problems with the generator. Yeah. Although at Big Bend we had an issue with the mud. Yeah. There's certain things like that you got to watch out for on the roads. But so. But
we kind of put her through.
We put her through a lot. We went down dirt roads, muddy roads. We drove through snow, rain,
I forgot about
hail.
No issues.
We got our window busted twice by rocks flying up.
Yeah, that's the bad part. But I think my con would be that the back of this van doesn't have a net, like a screen. Yeah, so I guess that's probably one of the biggest cons, because
we did get this one fixed on the door finally. Yes. So we have a full magnetic screen that's on the sliding door that works great now.
Yeah.
If we had something like that, I think she's saying
in the
on the back door.
Yeah, because then you could open up the van, completely without having to worry about the bugs.
We have been to some places with bugs.
Yeah, definitely. So that's definitely a con.
So, yeah. But those are cons that I think are easily can be fixed. We just got to figure out a way to get around that, work around. Yeah. And we'll be good.
But all in all, I think if you look at it, we absolutely still love the van and love the feasibility that the van gives us for van life. Yeah. And travel.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching Tate's Talk this week. We got more coming up next Sunday. Subscribe to our channel. We have new videos, travel videos every Wednesday. And on Sundays we have a Tate's Talk episode. And we have some other stuff in the mix too. Yeah. Also, each week when we drop a new video, don't forget we drop a new journal on our website, www.thetatestravel.com. So check that out.
And thanks again.
Thanks again for watching. Hopefully some of our information helps you. Yeah. So overall, I guess we got to give them overall. Okay. Pros and cons. 1 year later.
Would we do it all over again? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Absolutely.
and we would buy the same van.
Yeah.
We're very happy with the van, and it's just the right van for us. So
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
Aloha is part of the family, and she's going to stay part of the family for a while.
Yep.
So,
Tate out.
Thanks for watching.
Tate out.
I think you got to do like.